Raider Football with Mike Leach, presented by First United Bank.
Hello there, and welcome into Red Raider Football with Mike Leach. My name's Drew Doherty. I'm your host. Texas Tech on the road, taking on Nevada this weekend in Reno. And on today's show, we're going to do Ask Coach Leach. We'll catch you up with the action from the game with the Wolfpack, and then afterwards we'll talk about it with the head coach himself, and we'll do Red Raider news. So don't go anywhere. Red Raider Football with Mike Leach is coming right back.
Red Raider Football with Mike Leach is presented to you by First United Bank.
Hey, we're so glad that you're back with us here on Red Raider Football with Mike Leach. It's now that time of the program where you ask Coach Leach. It's very simple. You go to texastech.com and you send in those questions for the head coach, and he'll answer them just like he did earlier this week after a practice. Coach Jake in Wheeler, Texas wants to know, do you use the internet to help with your recruiting? If so, what websites do you like?
Well, we use the internet extensively. Some we subscribe to, some that are just there on the net, and we've got a couple guys, Antonio Huffman and David Emmerich, that keep abreast of those things, and then the coaches are aware of them. But as far as following things on the net, those guys do the majority of it, and they're great on the computer. They know what a computer can do, and they know their way around it really well. Me, myself, I barely know how to turn it on, so I rely on them and understand the fact that you need to get people that know something that you don't, otherwise you're going to fall short, and those two guys certainly know more about computers than I do.
From Eric in Lubbock, Texas, after the game with the Eagles, what mistakes are you hoping to avoid the rest of the way?
Well, the biggest thing is to develop the ability to play more consistently. I thought there were definitely some good things in that game, but they're in spurts. Now we want to do all that for a longer period of time.
From Mitch down in Austin, what are your ideal weather conditions for a ball game?
It depends if you ask a player or a coach. A player probably likes it somewhere in the neighborhood of about 55 degrees, I think. Jacket weather, where when they're in their pads and running around out there, they're as cool as possible. So I would say no wind, medium humidity, 55 degrees.
Don in Corpus Christi asks, did any player performances surprise you during the game?
Not really. People looked somewhat similar to how they practiced. Just our ability to finish and do the good things for an extended period was the biggest thing. But I can't say that most of what we saw was somewhat revealed in practice.
And from Will in Lubbock, Texas, he says, I'm a freshman at Texas Tech, and I'm new to Lubbock. I've got a first date with a girl, and I was wondering if you might have some recommendations.
Well, you want someplace casual to begin with, because you don't want something real formal in the beginning. So someplace casual, I recommend Kegel's Steakhouse, which is very casual. The other thing that's great about it is that there's very little salad there at Kegel's, so then the girl will be forced to eat in front of you, which is something that women hate. But if you can make them do it, the earlier the better. The more they'll conversate and let their show their true self. And then I'm a big movie guy. If you want to do it more like I did when I was your age, you could go to the Stars and Stripes Drive-In Theater, because that's what they had in Cody, Wyoming. But otherwise, the movie theater's pretty good, but then you want to end it somewhere like some cool coffee shop type of place where there's bizarre-looking characters going in and out, so that if the conversation isn't going well, you can you can reference some of the different characters you see coming and going from the place. And then if it's a huge night and you're really having a good time, then you can trade computer schemes and emails and all that mischief that people are up to on that nowadays, which I know nothing about.
Welcome back to the show. Hope you're enjoying things. Texas Tech was in Reno, Nevada this week, taking on the University of Nevada at Mackey Stadium, and this is what happened. We pick things up with Nevada in Tech territory. The defense coming up with the stop on 3rd and 2 from the Wolfpack would settle for a field goal. Later, Nevada back to pass on 3rd and 9 from their 41. Brandon Williams there with the deflection to force the punt. The defensive line making plays all night long. On the ensuing punt, Eric Morris fields it at the 14, and the Elf finds a seam, and the race is on. The senior returning it all the way to the house for Texas Tech's first punt return for a score since 2004, the 25th since 1951. The senior covers 86 yards for the 5th longest return in school history. His first career return for a touchdown puts the Red Raiders on the board with the 7-3 lead. Still in the first, Nevada with a 3rd and long near midfield. Junior defensive end McKinner Dixon notching his 2nd sack of 2008, good for an 8-yard loss. More defense in the second. Nevada on Tech's doorstep, 2nd and goal from the 4. The play action and the QB rolls out, and Bront Bird runs him down for a loss of 10. The Birds' first sack is part of a 14-tackle performance for the sophomore linebacker. On the Red Raiders' next series, from the Tech 49, Graham Harrell back to pass. The senior with the rainbow going deep down the near sideline into the hands of Michael Crabtree for a 50-yard pickup to the Wolfpack 1. For the 12th time in his career, the sophomore eclipsing the 100-yard receiving mark. The offense getting their first score of the game. The next snap, Shannon Woods on the carry, and he powers his way behind the left side of the line for the touchdown. The Red Raiders would take a 14-6 lead. Late in the half, the ball-hawking defensive line would register their 2nd interception of the season. The pass batted by Brandon Cisse, and Richard Jones hauls it in for his first pick. The Swarm defense forcing 3 turnovers on the night and keeping Nevada out of the end zone for 3 quarters. With the Wolves at the door on their opening drive of the second half, a 4th and 3 from the 3. The defense gets the goal line fumble. Daniel Charbonnet on the recovery. Replay review would give Tech the ball at the 20 on the touchback. Later in the third, Tech leading 14-12. The 2nd and 10 give to Eric Morris around the right side. He follows the block from Shannon Woods, scampers into the end zone for his 2nd touchdown of the game. On the night, the Red Raiders with 3 scores on the ground. 21-12, Texas Tech through 3 quarters of action. To the 4th, we pick up the Red Raider drive with Harrell dropping back on the play action from the Tech 18. He slings it downfield to Crabtree in Nevada territory. The sophomore spins out of a tackle, races to the far sideline. He gets a nice block from Todd Walker, and the All-American gets his 24th career touchdown grab. 82-yard scoring strike, a career best for Crabtree. For the game, 158 yards on 7 catches. But the Wolfpack would make it a 9-point game on the touchdown catch by Marco Mitchell. 28-19, Red Raiders. Texas Tech responding with an 11-play, 84-yard drive. Baron Batch getting 23 of those yards on the 2nd and 10 carry from the Tech 31. Against Nevada, the Red Raider rushing attack averaging nearly 6 yards a carry. The final play of the series, the 2nd and 10 give to Woods, and he gets some solid blocking and picks his way to the outside and goes in standing up for his 2nd score of the night, 4th of the season, as the Red Raiders open up a 35-19 lead. On Nevada's last series, a 1st and 10 from the Tech 23, watch Brandon Williams get to the quarterback for the first of 2 sacks on the drive as the defensive line leads the way to victory in Reno. Texas Tech improves to 2-0 on the 2008 season. The final from Mackey Stadium, 35 for the Red and Black, 19 for the Wolfpack. The Red Raiders return to Jones AT&T Stadium to host the SMU Mustangs Saturday, September 13th. Kickoff set for 6 p.m.
Oh man, I was just fortunate enough that they're running everything to me. Our defensive coordinator was making the right calls, and I was just blessed to have all the plays funneled to me. Marlon was complaining, on the weak side that they weren't running anything to him. So it could go either way. If the play comes to you, just got to make the play. So I'm happy with the way I played, and I'm happy the way the defense played today. We really stepped up in a lot of crucial situations. It was kind of cool walking off the field here and the fans chant defense. So I've never heard that no matter where I played. So I thought it was pretty cool.
Red Raider Football with Mike Leach is presented to you by First United Bank.
Welcome back to Red Raider Football with Mike Leach. After the game with the Wolfpack here at Mackey Stadium was finished, we talked all about it with the head coach. All right, Coach, after the 35-19 victory, congratulations on that win. I guess this is one of those where you can say, hey, all three sides of the ball come together and make it happen, right?
I would agree with that. I think that I think the defense played steady the whole game. I think whichever team had our defense was going to win this game, and so I can't say enough about those guys. Special teams, I thought we really did some good things. Played really aggressively and had a punt for a touchdown. And then offensively, I thought the O-line played pretty decently. And then I thought that took a while for the quarterbacks, receivers to get in sync, really up until the second half. And I don't know if we're trying to make too much happen or what, but we just need to coach better and play better at those positions.
Let's talk about the defense. Is this a game maybe in years past where if you don't have this type of effort from your D, it's one of those that gets away? Does this year kind of seem different with this one?
Well, I would like to think it didn't, but what our defense was very instrumental in this thing, and I think we put them in a hole a number of times, and they dug their way out a number of times and held them to one field goal after the next. And if you subtract about 5 big plays, then I think that it's really a superior defensive effort.
Brandon Williams, another nice job by him. He's very quietly been a playmaker really for the last year, hasn't he?
Yeah, he did got some key sacks there at the end, and he's really a good athlete. Brandon Williams is a guy that doesn't know how good he can be. He can be even significantly better than he is when you consider some of the physical tools he has.
Back in the linebacking core, 9 tackles just in the first half alone by Brontberg, 2 for a loss. He gets a sack as well. I mean, he's just all over the place.
Yeah, I thought he really did a good job running around. Really a rangy guy and he sorts it out quickly too.
You guys do anything different to get all these interceptions by defensive linemen? You're averaging 1 a game as we were talking off camera.
I don't know. Hopefully it keeps up. Hopefully we need to get 1 for each D lineman and need to keep averaging 1 a game.
You mentioned the punt return for a touchdown by the Elf. He also scores on the end around. He just keeps coming up big for the second week in a row, doesn't he?
Yeah, I thought so. I thought that he did some good things, and he's one of those guys that you can count on in a lot of areas, and I thought played well.
Red Raider Football with Mike Leach is presented to you by First United Bank.
Hey, it's great that you're back with us here on Red Raider Football with Mike Leach. One more time, here's the head coach. Graham Harrell really struggles in the first half and part of the third quarter, but it's perhaps the best part of his game tonight that he sticks with it, doesn't collapse like you mentioned, and he pulls out this win.
I think just staying with it and continuing to compete was really key, and I thought that was huge, and that was huge for our win, just the fact that he never packed it in. And even though it was a frustrating day with all kinds of bad breaks for him, I thought he did a really good job sticking with it and coming away with a win. And I don't think it's an accident. He's brought this team back as many times as he has.
Let's talk about the Crabtree touchdown. I mean, he has another big day, more than 100 yards receiving, gets a touchdown. It's just a monster at the end there. And it really it was almost a backbreaker, you could say, couldn't you?
Yeah, I think that was big. I think it's hard to say. This game, there was a lot of ups and downs, but I thought that was fairly big.
The guy that probably won't get mentioned much in the postgame, but he came up big. I remember specifically on 3 third and long situations, Tremaine Swindle goes up and gets you guys a first down.
Yeah, I thought he played. Played pretty well. He's been practicing well, and I think he's getting better and better at putting it together.
Nevada didn't do anything that surprised you, right? I mean, you talked in the week leading up to it how good this offense was. You factor in what the fans add to it, perhaps. I mean, was it maybe just you guys perhaps giving them a little bit too much momentum early?
No, I think that was part of it. They changed up what they'd run on film. They dropped a lot more, played more zone, and then at key times they'd slip in man free. So it was a little different than we'd seen on film, but it wasn't so dramatically different that we should have executed better earlier in the game.
What were you saying to the guys at the half? It was a lot closer than the final outcome.
Well, I just told them play like you practiced on Wednesday.
You guys going to call any more passes like that to Stephen Hamby and have him come up with a reception?
I hope not. I hope not. I thought like I say, we were tentative offensively, and I think that's part of what led to that.
Do you know why that was? Can you pinpoint anything?
I think everybody's trying to be as good a player as they can, and along with that, as you try to be real precise, I think sometimes you try to make too much happen and try to exceed your job description, and that's not ideal. Just like not working hard. I mean, the effort's there. Great intentions, things like that, but just need to go out there and do all the things that you've practiced over and over. Don't try to make too much happen.
Coach, on the ground, Shannon Woods does some really nice things running the football and blocking, didn't he?
Had several good runs and a couple good blocks that I know of, and that's what he does. He blocks well.
All right, Coach, congratulations on the road win. None of them are easy. This one wasn't either, but it's a W.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it, and we're looking forward to the next one.